on the 19th of April of 2022. At this time, Mr. Coy, if I can infringe on your good nature to come up and lead us in the invocation and pledge allegiance to the flag.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this morning, Lord, just so thankful for the goodness of the things that you bless us with. We lift up all those that are in need for you this, Lord. I just pray for Dennis as he's recovering. We pray that you to continue to watch over him and continue to heal him. We lift up all of our veterans and all of our service people and our first responders to you and just pray that you would continue to keep them all safe as they do their jobs this day. Bless this meeting, Father, and just ask your wisdom and discernment for those folks that make decisions that affect this county each day. We just pray that you look after them, give them the right decision to make, and help us all to live right in your sight. All these things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Amen. Thank you, Mr. Coyle. This time, Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Mitchell?
He doesn't have a microphone.
Just raise your hand, Dennis.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
All present?
Thank you. Treasurer's transfer report, Shanann.
Yes, Judge, and that was handed out this morning for your approval for the date of April the 19th of 2022.
I'll make a motion that we approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented. Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Rahal to approve the treasurer's transfer report as presented. Any discussion, members of the court? Hearing none. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? Raise your hand if you can hear me.
Raise your hand, Dennis.
Oh, he's trying to talk.
Okay. All right. Presentation and approval of all bills.
Make a motion, we approve all bills.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston to approve the bills as presented. Any discussion from the members of the court? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? Okay, Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. Treasurer's report, Can-Ann?
Yes, Judge. Presented in your packets for the appropriation condition report, a fund receipt report, a warrant distribution, a monthly revenue journal, long-term liabilities, and a transfer receipt report, a financial statement through March the 31st of 2022 as reported to the Department of Local Government.
Okay.
Make a motion, we approve the treasurer's report.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell to approve the treasurer's report as presented. Any discussion, members? Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? Thumbs up?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you, Can-Ann. Approval of the minutes from the April 5, 2022 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting.
I'll make a motion that we approve the minutes dated April 5th, 2022.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Rahal to approve the minutes of the April 5, 2022 Bullitt County Fiscal Court meeting. Any discussion, members of the court? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll, please.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? Okay. Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And under presentations, we have 4 presentations today. The first one I'd like to, she couldn't be here today, but we would like to recognize Aileen Milford. Today is her 99th birthday, and in our appreciation and recognition of her long-time citizenship of Bullitt County. And I'm sorry she couldn't be here. She was a little bit under the weather, but we'll bounce out and see her later this evening.
99, wow, that's amazing.
Yes, absolutely.
What's the oldest anybody have ever knew anybody? Anybody beat 99? What?
I met a gentleman when I was mayor with 100.
100. Anybody beat 100?
Bruce Clark, he's still around.
Who is it?
Former mayor of Mount Washington, Bruce Clark.
Bruce Clark, former mayor of Mount Washington, he said is still alive and he's 100.
I know someone 104.
104, wow.
How old are you, Larry? Well, yesterday I was 24. Oh, okay, that's
There you go. Well, thank you all. The next one, Keith, you have just a few minutes to talk about the
Yes, sir.
our last debt.
Yeah, it's, we have got the agreement to pay off the final debt that we had. This will be paid off on May the 3rd is when we will do the wire transfer. So you all need to just approve the wire transfer for May 3rd. It'll be roughly $2,454,000 that we're paying off. That could change a little bit up or a little bit down, depending on what the rates do between now and May 3rd. But this is just to let you all know, you all have approved all of this to pay off these debts. That is the final one that we have to pay off.
Okay. Thank you, Keith. And at this time, I would like to have Justin. We'll get you when your help gets here, Stephanie, okay? We did once before on all of them. Do we need another one?
I know we are prepaying it off, and I don't know, I think Keith wanted the motion to go ahead.
I think if you all want to just do another motion, just to...
Okay.
Prior to the next meeting.
I make a motion, we pay that off.
I'll third.
Okay. Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell, and 2nd District Magistrate Logston to pay off the last bill.
And keep that total on that one was
2.545.
Okay, and then that will make the total around 26 or is it 20?
No, that's what it'll be. That's the total.
Yeah, okay.
It could go a little bit up or down, just depending on what rates it.
But after this is paid off, that would be, that's everything?
Yep.
And that will be a total of around 26 or 28?
20, right at 26 million when we walked in the door.
So after this, over $26 million has been paid off?
Yep. Sam, call a roll, please.
Mr. Mitchell? You can hear us. Mr. Lawson?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Absolutely.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Josh, is he coming back in?
Yeah, he said he had to get something from his truck.
Do what now?
Yeah, he get something from his truck, he said.
Okay, well, we'll just put this on pause for a few minutes, and we'll bounce into, we'll come back to both of the other 2 presentations in a few, but we'll start under new business with the second reading of zoning ordinance 22-05, Marlon C. Kimball. Rob?
The second reading call of Kentucky County and Bullitt zoning ordinance number 22-05. An ordinance relating to changing the zoning of certain property from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 6.655 acres more or less located at 1310 Hilltop Road in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the fiscal court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of public hearing held at the Planning Commission, the recommendation of the commission, the information provided in the staff report, the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held at the fiscal court. Whereas the fiscal court concurs in and adopts the reasons joint planning commission for said zoning change and approves or accepts the recommendation of the planning commission in this matter, is out in 7 minutes. In terms of the proposed zoning change, acceptable should be approved. Now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Bullitt, Commonwealth of Kentucky, Section 1, the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, and more particularly described in the Minutes and Records of the Planning Commission, document number 2021Z-06, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Section 2, this ordinance to take effect upon passage of publication required by law. Section 3, issuing section provision requires this ordinance to be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, and the remainder of this ordinance shall not be effective, shall be in full force and effect. Section 4, all ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are inconsistent herewith are hereby repealed. Give the first reading and public hearing, the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of April 2022. Give the second reading and voted upon, the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of April 2022.
Thank you, Rob. Sam, call the roll, please.
Need a motion to accept it.
Make a motion that we accept ordinance 105.
You're right, Martin C. Kimball.
Accept the recommendation of the Bullitt County Planning Zone.
Who made the motion?
Mr. Rayhill.
Mr. Rayhill.
Who seconded it?
Judge Summers.
Yep.
Perfect. Okay. Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell? I don't think he's talking. Okay, motion
Yeah.
carried.
He's okay. All right. Thank you. Okay, well, now we'll go backwards here again just for a few minutes. And Justin has a presentation on the, what I'm going to say, the use of, what I'm going to say, all of our state-of-the-art equipment, along with cooperation and working with Lebanon Junction, where you guys at, and our EMS service on a fire that we had on probably one of the windiest days of the year. And Josh Coleman's here, the chief of the Lebanon Junction Fire Department.
Good. So we just wanted to, show how beneficial the drone is to firefighting. The initial call came in at 3:11, reporting smoke in the area. That's when Chief Coleman, I think, was one of the first units on scene. The following departments were the ones who assisted Lebanon Junction. You had Southeast, Shepherdsville, Nichols, Zoltan, Fairdale, Boston, Central Hardin, EMS, Division of Forestry, Salt River, and Dispatch. There's a few aerial photos of some apparatus. So drone footage can assist firefighters by using real-time aerial footage and can help predict where the fire will move next, if you want to.
Yeah, so during the initial attack phases, we didn't know exactly how far the fire actually stretched due to the high rate of winds. Fire was caused by a tree that was knocked down by the high rate of winds and knocked over a power line, causing the fire on the hillside. Initially came in as smoke in the area of Collins Hill Road and Belmont Road. However, as you can see, the fire, was at Struple Farm Road in Collins Hill, approximately 3 miles away. That's how windy it was that day. So we had no idea the full extent of the fire until we was able to get eyes on the ground, feet on the ground, eyes on the fire, and the drone in the sky. It assisted us remarkably, not knowing exactly where the head of the fire was, and actually discovered 2 different fronts of the fire because of the topography of the hillside. It was actually wrapping around. And during the middle of that, he also discovered the structure that was potentially in danger and some other hazardous materials and out the external that was affected from it as well. So I think the actual burn area was roughly about 10 to 15 acres. I still haven't talked to the Division of Forestry yet because of to determine the actual size of the fire. However, the drone was remarkable for us, discovering hot spots, discovering the actual flame fronts that we couldn't see, making sure our firemen were very protected and very well safe, and discovering hazards for us as it went along. So the use of the drone was very beneficial for our efforts that day, 100%.
As you can see here, the top photo taken during the day, you cannot see the hot spots clearly. That thermal imaging helps out a lot. And then there's just a few extra pictures there. Again, some extra thermal at the end.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions, members of the court, for Josh or Justin?
I I'd just like to say thank you to all the departments that you listed up there that responded. I mean, obviously, that could have been something a lot worse. It seemed like you all did a wonderful job controlling that, so great job. And hats off to having that equipment as well. It is, I can see the advantage of, you came in here many times, Justin, I know, showing us some different things with the drone, and it's sometimes little things that make big differences. But that thermal imaging, that's really interesting to see that. I wasn't aware that they had that with the drones, but that's interesting, and probably a good tool for you all. But
100%, yeah. And not just wildfire fighting, I mean structural firefighting, commercial structure fires, as the county's getting, also hazmat incidents as well. It can go into areas that firemen can't get into quickly to discover potential threats, victims down, things of that nature. So having the drone at our disposal, so to say, and having him being able to operate is absolutely remarkable. So
We were able to use it for 4 days in Hillview with that last missing person.
right. And it's nice to see, come back and see the results of some of the things that we might vote on or pass. And we've had that happen with EMS with some of the different stretchers and Lucas devices, and heard some testimonials. You pay for these things. It's nice to see the reward and see they're being used and utilized and helping save lives. So thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. We have another presentation. Stephanie and Brian from Windstream or Connect. They're here to present to the court. They entered the RFP for the 1 gigabyte of fiber optic, and they're here to give a presentation to the court and then give the court a couple of weeks to decide on what to do.
Good morning, and thank you all for allowing us to come this morning. As the judge mentioned, my name is Stephanie Bell. I'm Vice President of Government Affairs for Windstream. And recently we submitted a proposal to an RFP that you all let. And so we wanted to come to the court and just kind of review the proposal. After the presentation, if you have any questions, please let me know. So let's, just a little bit about us. As a company, we are now a privately held company. That's been about 2 years now, so we are no longer a public company, but a private company. And to me, that allows us to be a little bit more flexible and not as much red tape that you have to do when you are a publicly traded company. We are based in 18 states. We're based in 18 states. We have spent, and this number has increased since I ran these numbers, but we have spent $211 million just from 2019 and to 2021 in Kentucky alone. We serve 720,000 locations in Kentucky, and that's over 11,000 miles of fiber. We are backed by a $500 million revolving line of credit, which is important when you're doing public projects and doing these type of projects. And we have almost 700 employees that live here in Kentucky, that pay taxes in Kentucky, and that live in communities that we partner with. Next slide, please. I wanted to include a little bit of a background on what our experience is in public-private partnerships. We have participated in federal funding programs for over 10 years. And those federal programs, we go through audit processes. It's a big process to participate in federal funding programs, as you all probably know. We were awarded $43 million in the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund auction that was completed by the FCC earlier this year. That is going to bring fiber to almost 16,000 households. And that fund was primarily geared towards the very rural parts of the state that are not maybe as financially attractive to companies to provide broadband, so those are very rural parts. We participated in the CAF funding. That's been a couple of years ago. That was a federally funded program. CARES money. We deployed fiber in Arkansas and Nebraska recently with CARES money that was appropriated for that. Windstream and the city of Grayson have entered into a partnership. They wanted to be a gig city, so it was a neat story. Grayson is in Carter County, if you don't know where that is. And so we have a project with them where they use their ARPA funds to deploy broadband throughout the city limits. So it's a very fun project. We also have partnerships with Rowan County in place. We have applications to the Kentucky Broadband Fund. We should hear about that in the next month. The first round of funding for that was for pretty much unserved locations, which is a very low speed. Not very many urban areas would qualify for that. That's, again, more of the more rural parts of our state. In Georgia, we recently received $171 million to deploy broadband in one of their state broadband programs. And then in the NTIA, I'm sure you've heard about that program, that federal agency in Washington. They are in charge of, well, they have quite a bit of broadband money on hand. So they did a grant program about, I don't know, 6 months or so ago. And out of 13 applications that were received, I read that they had over $2 billion more requests of funding than they had actual funding. And so 13 applications were approved, and we received 2 of those. Windstream received 2 of those in Texas and Georgia. Next slide, please. Just some awards that we've received on a corporate level. We were named top 100 most loved workplaces in 2021 by Newsweek, which our CEO likes that. That's a neat thing. CNET, I'm not sure if you're familiar with that publication, but we received the Best Rural Internet Service Award and Best Speeds. And this is a very important award for us as well. We received the 2022 Hire Vets Award, which we've received that for the last 4 years, and that's a national award, and that's hiring veterans and having those hiring and attracting veterans to the workplace. So we're very proud of that award. And then the Sustainalytics Awards, that is a very technical award, but we were ranked the first in the country and second in the world in that. So that's on the bottom there. It tells you a little bit about that. It's all about security, ethics, corporate governance, carbon emissions, those type of things. So that's a very, we're proud of that award. Next slide. Brian, do you want to give the update?
Sure. Currently, we have a project that we're building in Zolton, Kentucky, so you may see us out there right now building, where we're going to pass almost 6,400 homes with fiber. So that project is totally funded by us and should be complete by August, if not before then. You'll start to see certain parts of it turn up even quicker, so that's good news. In addition, we are 12 Oaks, the subdivision there, is been approved, and work has started this past week on a new application that we're trialing, and that's called a shallow buried depth fiber trial. So all those homes will have 1 gig, and we anticipate that completing by June. And this just goes to show, so last time we were in here, I think I was telling you that we were building in Mount Washington. And now we do have another project coming up in Mount Washington that we're calling it the Hubbard's Lane project, where we're just expanding that footprint that's already there. So that again should be done by August. Or June on that one, sorry, my bad. So the map you're looking at is Bullitt County, and this is where this is kind of the proposal, right? So our intention is to get gigabit services to the 6,200 customers that are, I believe, green, right? I can't see the key up there. Those green dots will all have fiber. So essentially, it's from Shepherdsville all the way out to the county line in Cedar Grove, all that way to Nelson County, and everything in between there, up to Mount Washington that's not already covered. So it should all tie in. Project would result in 166,000 miles of fiber infrastructure installed across the county. And with that 6,200 plus the additional 5,900 plus the ones we've already built here, we'll have over 12,000 homes when all is said and done. So pretty much everything in the county that exists today should have fiber, or the opportunity to have 1 gig fiber from Windstream, Connecticut. So the proposal, the total cost of the project is 6.8 million. Our investment will be 4.8 million, and we've requested 2 million from the county. And then you can see the cost per location, our Windstream cost location 774, and then 323 is the toll. So that's we will commit to begin as soon as we get the the funding. And in addition to that, we feel like we're going to say 2 years, but we anticipate a much quicker build than that.
Okay.
And I think that's it. And, you know, as Stephanie mentioned, we're here to answer any questions or concerns or anything.
And for clarity, Brian, just to make sure, that covers like Browningtown, Solitude,
yes,
Cedar Grove,
yep,
and then the unmarked areas of these open areas as well.
That's right.
That right now currently wouldn't be eligible for fiber due to the cost.
That's correct.
And this is all to help those in attendance here today. This is all what I'm going to say about the ARPA funding that's been sent down. Your tax dollars coming back, and we've committed as a court to spend those dollars on infrastructure for those in the areas that don't have access to it. It's an opportunity that we have of a lifetime to be able to provide services out in the rural areas of our county.
And as Stephanie mentioned, you know, Grayson, Kentucky, up in Carter County, they wanted to be a 1 gig city. Well, why does anybody want to be a 1 gig city? Because it gives your county or your city a competitive advantage over others, right? And if anything, the COVID pandemic shown that you can live in beautiful Bullitt County or wherever in Kentucky and have a job in New York City or Cincinnati or wherever and still be productive and help your county grow. So this gives everyone the opportunity for 1 gig internet. You know, I won't even get into the whole schooling issue we had during COVID where folks didn't have the bandwidth to get that. That's all taken care of. This network is built to be expanded to up to 10 gig if needed. We're already rolling out 2 gig in a lot of fiber areas. Again, not a lot of people take it, but there are some people that just need that much bandwidth. I think you'll find that 1 gig is more than enough in, you know, what years is 2022. But either way, your network is built for expansion all the way up to 10 gig, which that should take us well into the future.
Well, and as Brian mentioned, for economic development purposes, in the past, companies would send out RFPs to communities. You know, they want to know, is water available? Is gas available? Is electric available? They have added on now, is fiber available in the area? So not only for, you know, residential needs for school and work and remote work, it's also crucial for economic development expansion. And since you all are situated in such a great area, I mean, you know, this area has grown so much, and this is just another tool in your toolbox to help that growth, encourage that.
Will you all be around for a few minutes?
Yes.
You have to leave real quick?
No.
I've got a couple residents I want to talk to you about specifically that's in the Mount Washington area that I've had some residents there have an issue getting internet at all. And they're really right in the heart of Mount Washington, so to speak. So if y'all be around, I'd like to talk to you about them specifically.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all. But if y'all would look over the proposal during the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can vote on it in May, one way or the other, or do some more negotiating. Okay? Thank you all.
Thanks a lot.
And thank you all. Back to you, Rob. Second reading of zoning ordinance 22-06, Kenneth and Belinda Weber.
This will be second reading of Common Kentucky County and Bullitt zoning ordinance number 22-06. An ordinance relating to changing the zoning of certain property from R1 residential to agricultural. The property in question is 10.04 acres more or less, located at 173 Meadowland Trail in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the evidence of the public hearing of the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, and the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing of the Fiscal Court. Whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in, adopts and reads the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendations of the Planning Commission in this matter as set out in said minutes. In terms of proposed zoning change acceptable and should be approved. Now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Common Kentucky, Section 1, the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, described in the mentioned record Planning Commission, document 2021-D-17, is hereby changed from R1 residential to agricultural. Section 2, this ordinance takes effect upon passage of publication required by law. Section 3, change section provision of part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction. Then the this ordinance shall be effective and shall remain full force and effect. Section 4, ordinances and resolutions consistent herewith are hereby repealed. Give first reading and public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of April 2022. Give a second reading and vote upon a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of April 2022.
Okay, thank you.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance 2206.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal to approve zoning ordinance 22-06, Kenneth and Belinda Weber. A second by 2nd District Magistrate Logsdon. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Second reading of zoning ordinance 22-07, Brian Weber. Rob?
This second reading of Common Kentucky County Bullitt zoning ordinance number 22-07. An ordinance relating to the zoning of certain property from R1 residential to agricultural. The property in question is 10 acres more or less, located at 197 Longview Drive in an unincorporated area of the county. Whereas the Fiscal Court of Bullitt County has considered the public hearing of the Joint Planning Commission and the recommendations of the Commission, the information provided in staff report of the Office of Bullitt County Planning and Zoning, the testimony and evidence presented at the public hearing held by the Fiscal Court. Whereas the Fiscal Court concurs in, adopts the reads of the Joint Planning Commission for said zoning change, and approves and accepts the recommendation of the Planning Commission in this matter without said minutes. And in terms of the proposed zoning change acceptable should be approved. Now therefore be ordained by the Fiscal Court of County of Bullitt, Common Kentucky, Section 1, the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, more particularly described in the mentioned records of the Planning Commission in document number 2021-Z-18, is hereby changed from R1 residential to agricultural. Section 2, this ordinance takes effect upon passage of publication required by law. Section 3, change section provision of part of this ordinance be declared unconstitutional or invalid for any reason by a court of competent jurisdiction, and the remainder of this ordinance not be effective and shall remain in full force and effect. Section 4, ordinances and resolutions to the extent they are consistent herewith are hereby repealed. Give first reading of public hearing at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 5th day of April 2022. Give a second reading and vote upon a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 19th day of April 2022.
Thank you, Rob.
Make a motion, we accept ordinance 2207.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal to approve zoning ordinance 22-07, Brian Weber, and a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Number 4, actions requested giving the treasurer permission to cut poll workers' checks for the primary election. I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
You got to make the motion to cut the primary poll workers' checks to the treasurer, and a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logsdon. Any discussion, members? Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logsdon?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Attached, you'll see a surplus property request from the clerk's office to surplus.
Make a motion, we let the county clerk surplus list.
Okay. Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell to approve the clerk's surplus list. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Number 6, actions requested on an interlocal agreement with the city of Shepherdsville for paving roads. We've done similar agreements with the other cities, and there's an open end on the pricing because this is just to give us approval to use our equipment and our labor to assist them.
Make a motion, we enter into a local agreement with the shop.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Rahal, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell, to enter into an interlocal agreement with the city of Shepherdsville for paving their roads. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Thank you. Yes. All right. Number 7, actions requested on the reorganization of planning and zoning and code enforcement. If the matrix is in your packets, and Janice, if you'd like to comment on it, if you want to, or questions should go to Janice or to Keith.
Just kind of work together, Felicia, Keith and I, to figure out how to best make it, kind of change the name back to Bullitt County Planning and Development.
Right.
And then each person will have duties down from that, so.
Okay.
I'll make a motion that we accept the requested reorganization of planning and zoning and code enforcement.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Rahal to approve the reorganization of planning and zoning and code enforcement. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Number 8, we need action on the iWorks agreement, work order for our tracking software, and what this will do for us, we'll have the ability to be able to write work orders for different areas of our county, especially with the road department, to where they'll be able to be tracked back into, if we need it for FEMA, or back into planning and zoning, or into code enforcement for and it'll match the existing software that we're currently in the process of using with planning and zoning and code enforcement now.
This is, we had opportunity, I know all of us at different times, to sit in on conference calls and some of the sample demonstrations of how this works, and it's really an impressive software program. One of the things that I really like about it is when I first came into office, I was often kind of learned and that sometimes the squeaky wheel gets the oil, so to speak, when it comes to speaking up for your district. And that's what I like about this, is it's a real good way of following along with what work's done in the county, particularly the road department. They showed us on one of the demonstrations just how easily they can break down by district where the projects are being completed, when the last time that pothole was filled. So it's more of I know particularly related to the road department, what I liked about it is I previously worked in another job where we used SAP Mobile, where we tracked a lot of our sales calls and different things like that. This particular program is really amazing what it can do. We as even magistrates can put in work orders and submit those in if we see a pothole, and then the road department can see that, visualize that. They also can go in if they patched a pothole on Greenbrier. It's instead of using older methods of tracking things and spreadsheets, this system is amazing what it can do. So it can tell you the last time that pothole has been repaired, or whatever type of road repair might be done. There's different classifications, but I think this would be a great thing moving forward, kind of to be able to track what work has been done in the county. And I'll make a motion that we accept the iWork agreement for the work order tracking software.
Okay. We have a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 3rd District Magistrate Laswell to approve the agreement for the iWorks agreement for extending it. It's basically a modular system where you can add blocks to it all the way around like SAP. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Actions requested on new hires for EMS, the attached sheet. There's 2 for EMTs and 1 part-time paramedic. And I'll make that motion.
Second.
Got a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Before we do the last one, gentlemen, this has been added to the agenda. We've had it for some time now. We need to approve the Personnel and Policy Procedure Manual for the detention center. And I'll make that motion to approve it.
Second.
Got a second by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill. Any discussion, members? Hearing none, Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. And on this last one, actions requested for Resolution 22-05, authorizing the execution of law enforcement protection program duty weapons firearms grant. And do you have any questions on it? Chief Latham's here to answer them as well.
No, I think Sheriff Shower gave us a pretty good presentation last time, but I'll make the motion that we accept the requested Resolution 2205 authorizing the execution of law enforcement protection program duty weapons firearms grant.
Okay.
Second.
Got a motion by 2nd District Magistrate Logston, a second by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill to approve Resolution 22-05 authorizing the execution of law enforcement protection program duty weapons and firearms, the grant. Sam, call the roll, please.
Mr. Logston?
Yes.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Dennis can't speak. See offline.
I'm starting to hear a little bit of volume, but I'm not
Okay.
sure if they can hear me.
All right, well, I'll start with any comments, Magistrate Logston.
No, I appreciate everybody coming out here today. We had a car cruise in Mount Washington. Thanks for everybody that stopped by and seen there. We had over 700 cars this past Saturday at our office, and we raised about $1,200 for the Crusade for Children in Mount Washington Fire Department. So thanks. I know some of y'all in the room here, I know came out and visited, so thank you all for stopping by and saying hello. And it's supposed to be a really pretty weekend. Get out there and enjoy it, I think in the 80s. So just everything's good.
Okay, thank you. Magistrate Laswell?
I'm good.
Mr. Rahal?
Just want to thank everybody for coming out today. I mean, I know it's a struggle sometimes to get out, work, come out, but to be involved is, that's the biggest thing. Just keep praying for Dennis. He's struggling a little bit. Just, whatever you believe in, just send him your prayers for sure.
Okay, thank you. I'd like to thank Mayor Dangerfield and Councilwoman Lisa Preston for being here today, and also I'm going to say the cooperation between the multiple agencies here in this community. We've done quite a few rescues at Bernheim and some other places as well, using the thermal imaging of the drone to be able to locate folks lost in the forest. And Deputy Chief, thank you for being here as well. And y'all have a great day, and I need a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion by 4th District Magistrate Ray Hill, a second by 2nd District Magistrate Logston. Sam, call the roll.
Mr. Laswell?
Yes.
Mr. Rahal?
Yes.
Judge Summers?
Thank you.
Mr.
Yes.
Logston?
Yes.
Motion carried.